everyone, Aaron here from Rudy Visuals. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. In today's video, we're reviewing the Hollyland Cosmo C1. And no, this isn't some kind of UFO communication device. It is in fact a wireless video transmitter that has an insane claimed 1,000 feet range and has quite an expensive price tag to match. But is it worth your hard-earned money? Well, let's find out. Now, before we do find out, a big thank you to Hollyland for sending us the Cosmo C1 to review. This isn't a paid or sponsored review in any kind of way, but Hollyland were kind enough to send us one of these for free to keep. But regardless, all thoughts and opinions are fully independent. Now, we have reviewed a few wireless video transmitters like these in the past, including the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro and the Axion Cine-Eye. And for any kind of video creator who works in kind of like a bigger team that needs the ability to shoot video and also monitor their video feed in a separate location, a wireless video transmitter can be an essential tool to help you improve your workflow. And in addition to filmmakers and content creation, this can also be really useful for things like, for example, streaming live events, conferences, concerts, sporting events, things of that nature. So for your £850, this is what you get physically, this awesome, very professional looking carry case, which I really like. And inside you'll find a warranty card and user guide, the transmitter and receiver themselves, a DC power, these flat style antennas, mushroom style antennas, a hot shoe mount, magic arm, and a Type-C to Type-A converter. The other thing that does suck is that there is literally no video cables provided whatsoever, and of course there's also no batteries provided, which if you're paying this kind of price, it does feel a little bit bleh. So the Cosmo C1 features their new HEVO, H-E-V-O, HEVO technology, which if you cut through all the marketing mumbo jumbo, basically just helps provide that extra range, the increased reliability, and better anti-interference, which should result in a clearer signal with less sort of flickering, less lag, and no more of those kind of black screens. Now, from my very simplistic understanding of this, it's basically constantly making sure that it's on the best possible signal, so you're not getting any kind of dropouts. This can happen if you're filming in an area with lots of electrical interference and also with cheaper transmitters, which means they're ultimately kind of useless for real life filming applications besides, simple monitoring. Now, the Cosmo lineup from Hollyland is essentially their higher end lineup designed for more professional setups and workflows, bigger film crews. And honestly, for us, this is kind of a little bit overkill for the kind of work that we do personally, but could be a very big game changer for more larger and more professional production and film crews. So why would you choose the C1 over something cheaper like the Mars 400S Pro? So considering this is actually going to set you back about £850 here in the UK, which is very expensive, and you can get yourself the Mars 400S Pro for around £500 to £600 these days. Well, for starters, you get an additional SDI out for both the receiver and the transmitter as well. So on your camera, you can actually loop out to an additional monitor, for example, as well as transmit. And on the other side, you can also loop out to, for example, a director's monitor and also for a camera assistant. So that extra port just opens up a lot more possibilities. It gives you a lot more flexibility when you're working with a bigger filming crew. And not only that, but you're also getting that better signal with the HEVO, H-E-V-O technology, as well as that huge range of 1,000 feet compared to 400 feet on the Mars 400S Pro, for example. Now, 400 feet does sound pretty ridiculous if you think about it, but if you think about the kinds of people who would use these kinds of devices and the kinds of projects that they'd be using it on, let's say you're filming a big live event in a big university hall or event hall or an outdoor sports area, for example, that extra range of 1,000 feet is definitely going to come in handy over something less. Just to quickly test the distance, here's us going out and making sure that the extra 1,000 feet works. as you saw, we pretty much got that 1000 feet range. Of course, things can affect it, like, you know, the electrical interference in your particular area, the weather, any kind of physical blocks or limitations, you know, any kind of Wi-Fi signals that happen to be in the air that could be interfering. But overall, I think very impressed with the range. Now, as for the latency, so Hollyland claims that the C1, the Cosmo C1 has a latency of 40 milliseconds, which is definitely fast enough to film most things in real time, and even focus pull if you wanted to focus pull, as long as you're not filming like really super fast subjects. So we were testing this whole time with our A7 III and our A7 R3, which both use HDMI instead of SDI. So your mileage may vary here. I have seen reviews where they've been able to get the latency down to as low as 17 milliseconds. There are lots of variables here, from the connection you use, the kind of cable you use, the camera you're using, whether you're using SDI or HDMI. But from what I could see, the latency was barely noticeable, but not huge for me. Now, this might be different for you. If I was shooting, for example, interviews or a presentation, someone just kind of sitting down and talking, etc., then I think this level of latency is really not a big deal at all. It will just kind of depend on what kind of video that you're intending to shoot with. So it will just kind of depend on your use cases. Now, one thing that actually does impress me is the actual size of the units. I know the antennas are pretty long, to be fair, but the transmitter and receiver are actually really nicely built. They feel like premium products, but are still compact and lightweight, easy enough to carry around. They're also metallic, they feel really well built. And also a big thank you for actually writing down transmitter and receiver on the units, because believe me, trust me, it does save time. You also get these mushroom style antennas, which are designed to work better for vertical shooting compared to a flat plane for these antennas. Now, the units have this very stealthy but premium looking design. They certainly don't feel cheap at all and look cool, I think. Moving on to the design and ease of use, the C1 is pretty much straightforward to set up. It's literally a case of connecting your camera to the transmitter and your monitoring device to the receiver. Everything pairs up automatically, and if you do need to change any of the settings, this tiny little screen here makes it pretty easy to go in and do. And I really like how you also have these multiple power options. So you can use these Sony NPF style batteries. You can also use the DC power, as well as USB-C, so lots of flexibility there. Now, battery life, if you go the route that we use, which is the NPF style batteries, it kind of depends on what kind of batteries you're using. With these cheap F550 batteries that I have here, we're able to get about an hour to about an hour and a half of continued use. But if you use better batteries, you'll probably get much better battery life. We've got like 5 or 6 of these to hand, so we just pretty much just keep swapping them in and out. So that wasn't really a big issue. Another really cool feature is the ability to simply plug the C1 in via USB to your computer, and you pretty much have the ability to directly live stream without the need for any extra equipment. There's no video capture card needed or any additional setup whatsoever. Using this, you can pretty much use your camera as your webcam. So I can imagine this being really handy for getting a quality image from your camera for more professional looking, you know, live streams, for example, or if you're having any kind of important meetings or conferences, you know, YouTube streaming, anything like that. So overall, is this worth your money if you're looking for a wireless video transmitter? Honestly, I do think it's a fantastic product. The extra SDI ports and that increased range for me makes it a really big upgrade over the Mars 400S Pro. But if I'm being personally honest with you, for the kind of work that I do, it's definitely a bit of overkill. I am very happy with the 400S Pro, and there's not many projects that when I do use it, I would actually need an extra monitor or over 400 feet of range. So I think for me, this is a little bit overkill, but if you do need that though, then the Cosmo C1 would actually be a really good choice for you. There's lots of very expensive options out there on the market, as you'll see right here. So £850 for the Cosmo C1 is actually not that bad of a deal. Just keep in mind the latency isn't ideal for fast subjects, for example, for focus pullers. But if you are just using this, if you want just an extra director or client monitor, then it's a great option that's well worth checking out. So if you're interested in picking up one of these for yourself, there will be links in the description box below. A huge thank you once again to Albert specifically and Hollyland for sending this to us and making this video possible. That's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you found it useful, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to see more. You can also follow us on socials down here. And as always, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.